Once upon a time, in a small and quiet kingdom, there lived a gentle young woman named Cinderella. She had a soft voice and a heart that stayed kind even when people were not kind to her. When Cinderella was a child, her mother passed away. Later, her father married again. At first, Cinderella hoped her new stepmother and two stepsisters would become a real family. She helped them, smiled at them, and waited for their love to grow. Instead, her stepmother was cold and cruel, and her stepsisters were selfish and proud. They cared about pretty clothes and being admired, and they treated Cinderella like a servant. Then Cinderella's father died, and everything changed. With no one to protect her, Cinderella's stepmother took away her fine dresses and gave her only old gray clothes. She made Cinderella sleep near the fireplace, where ashes clung to her hair and hands. Laughing, her stepsisters began to call her Cinderella. From morning until night, Cinderella worked. She swept the floors, carried water, washed clothes, cooked meals, and scrubbed pots until her fingers ached. Yet she still chose gentleness. She spoke politely, shared crumbs with hungry birds, and whispered greetings to the little mice hiding in the kitchen corners. Those small creatures became her only friends. One day, a royal messenger arrived with exciting news. The king would hold a grand ball at the palace, and every young woman in the kingdom was invited. The prince wished to meet them and choose a bride. The stepsisters squealed with joy. For days, they demanded that Cinderella sew, iron, and polish until everything looked perfect. Secretly, Cinderella dreamed of going too. She did not want to be famous. She simply wanted to hear music again, see shining lights, and feel, for one evening, that she belonged somewhere. When the night of the ball arrived, Cinderella gathered her courage and asked her stepmother for permission to go. Her stepmother looked her up and down and smiled cruelly. "You may go," she said, "if you finish all your work, clean the house, and sort these lentils from the ashes." Then she poured a pile of lentils into the cold fireplace and left Cinderella to the task. Cinderella worked quickly, but time passed like water. When she finally finished, her stepmother and stepsisters were already leaving. The door closed. The house became silent. Cinderella sat by the fireplace and cried. Her tears fell softly into the ashes there. Suddenly, a gentle light filled the room, like morning sunshine appearing indoors. Cinderella looked up and saw her fairy godmother. "Why are you crying, my dear?" she asked. Cinderella told her everything. The fairy godmother listened, then smiled. "You shall go to the ball." With a wave of her wand, magic danced through the air. A pumpkin became a golden carriage. Mice became strong horses. Cinderella's old clothes turned into a beautiful gown, and sparkling glass slippers appeared on her feet. "But remember," the fairy godmother warned, "the magic will end at midnight. When the clock strikes 12, you must leave at once." Cinderella promised. At the palace, the halls glowed with candles and music. When Cinderella entered, people stopped and stared. The prince saw her and walked straight toward her. He bowed and asked her to dance. Cinderella said yes, and they danced again and again, talking between songs and smiling as if the world had become gentle. Cinderella felt happier than she had ever felt before. But then she heard the clock. One chime, then another. Midnight was coming. Her heart raced. She thanked the prince with a quick smile and ran. Down the stairs, one glass slipper slipped from her foot and landed on the steps, shining like a small star. Cinderella did not stop. She ran into the night as the final chime echoed behind her. The magic faded. The carriage became a pumpkin again. Cinderella returned home in her gray clothes, standing by the fireplace as if it had all been a dream. The next day, the prince searched the kingdom with the glass slipper. He promised to marry the woman whose foot fitted perfectly. At Cinderella's house, the stepsisters tried first. They pushed and pressed, but the slipper would not fit. Then Cinderella stepped forward and asked softly, "May I try?" Her stepmother laughed, but the prince nodded. Cinderella placed her foot into the slipper, and it fit perfectly. She then produced the other slipper, and the prince recognized her at once, not only by the glass shoes, but by her kindness and calm courage. Cinderella married the prince, and her life changed forever. She remained humble, chose forgiveness over anger, and brought warmth back into her world. And so Cinderella lived happily ever after.